Introducing a new segment on this channel, and guys, please forgive me if it's not up to par. I'm still working on it. I still am trying to come up with the name, but I figure as of now, it can be called the Three Lions of the Week. Since we are the Pride of London, and a group of lions is called a pride, I figured I name the top three players of the week, so to speak, right? Players that I feel like need to get extra recognition than the team. And also, for like I said, I'm still working on the segment. For lack of a better term, I'm going to call a player out. Then I'm going to call the cub of the week. I think a baby lion is called a cub. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's how I'm going to call it. And so, work with me here, right? I'm trying to introduce something new to the channel, something innovative, right? But this is a segment that I want to dedicate to Tomori, Jorginho, Mason Mount, and Tammy Abraham. Right, those are the four players I'm going to highlight, and then at the end I'm going to give you the cub of the week. Right, so hey, bear with me. Let me know in the comments down below, how do you feel about this segment? Should it stay? Should it go? Let me know down below. But since I couldn't get exactly all the stats of the Brighton game, I'm going to give you some stats overall, right? How they performed so far this season. So the stats could be a bit misleading, right? Because players tend to, as the season goes by, they get better and better, which should be the case, right? As you knock some of the preseason rust off, you get into form. But Fikayo Tomori, to think he was so close to going out on loan to Everton, right? Because David Luiz was going to be our third or fourth choice center back, right? He was this close, like deadline day. We had the paperwork in the works and everything. All we needed was signature and to get some last minute medical approval, right? Last minute, we had this mishap with David Luiz where he wants to go to Arsenal because he's not going to get guaranteed game time, right? We all panic, most of us at least, and we say, and Lampard said, okay, fine, you don't want to work for your spot, you can go. There's the exit door. So Fikayo Tomori benefited for David Luiz leaving. And so, look, man, I'm saying now, I think Fikayo Tomori is our best center back, right? Even Rudiger, because at times Rudiger, he is our second choice in my opinion, right? When he comes back, he gets into the team. But even though Christensen has recently, proved that maybe it's not going to be so easy, right? He's been playing good, and even Zuma. But it's times in games where Rudiger, he's too aggressive, right? It's a blessing and a curse. He's too aggressive. Sometimes he wins a challenge, or he gets out of position to go for a challenge, right? And he misses it, and he leaves the complete right-hand side open, right? This is why Reece James will help with that too, because if Rudiger gets beat, Azpilicueta is not going to catch anybody, right? The thing I like about Tomori is his composure, his ability to read the game, his composure, and just his recovery speed, right? Sometimes he might get beat, right, the ball over the top, but his recovery speed, his tackling ability is second to none, in my opinion, right? I think he's our best defender when it comes to that, because so many times he has so many take-ons, whether it's a header or, they're fighting for a 50-50, right? The ball goes over the top, and he's chasing a winger, he's chasing a striker, and he 9 times out of 10 wins, right? And I have some stats to prove it. Forgive me if you can't see that clearly, but that's 81% of his defensive duels, right? That's aerial battles in the air, and it's also, dribble take-ons, right? He's winning 81% of that. And you've seen that when he played against Mo Salah. He had Mo Salah in his pocket, right? Every time Mo Salah tried to dribble past him, he couldn't cope, right? Tomori, his tackling ability is second to none. His passing from the back, his composure is why I believe he's our best center back, right? And Lampard obviously has acknowledged him as our first choice center back, 1 or 2, right? And Christensen and Tomori have been working on a great partnership, so I'm really encouraged by that. But I do believe still, when Rudiger returns fully fit, that it is his spot, right? It's Tomori and Rudiger as our best center backs. I'm very confident in those two, especially with Emerson and Reece James. Our defense is solved, guys. I'm telling you now. And Kante, he had a bit of a niggle. I expect him to play against Lille, but once we get our full players back, our team is probably going to finish comfortably in third or fourth place, and that's just my opinion, right? I feel like we're the most complete team. That's not City or Liverpool, in my opinion, right? There's other teams like Tottenham and Arsenal and Man United. They have their own problems, right? United can't get goals in open play. They don't have enough creativity in their midfield. And then you have Arsenal, whose defense is shitty, right? And you have Spurs, who have something going on in the locker room that we can't put a finger on, but something's going on, right? Everything is not clear. You got players that want to leave, like Eriksson, who couldn't leave, and it just looks like nobody's together, right? When you see them play, they're not the same Spurs anymore. Another player that I want to highlight, but before I get into Jorginho, I forgot to mention that Tomori is averaging 88% pass percentage, right? That's phenomenal for a defender, right? 88%. And he doesn't just do short passes, he pings balls across the field, right? So that's fantastic, right? And he has a tackling percentage of 55 to 60%, which I believe will improve once Emerson is on the left-hand side and he doesn't have to cover for Alonso not tracking back in time, right? That will drastically change, right? Because I see the eye test. The eye test tells me his tackling ability will improve once we have a full team, a full squad, right? But Jorginho, that game against Brighton, he showed his class, bro. He had 3 key passes, and he always has a high percentage passing rate, right? 90%, 88%, something along the marks around there, right? And in Champions League, he's averaging 94% per game. And it's not just like he's only touching the ball a few times. In our game against Valencia, he had 94% passing rating, right? And on top of that, he had 107 touches, bro. That's a lot of touches. That means the ball is coming to you about, you touch the ball at least once or twice per minute, right? Which is a lot. This is a guy that commands the defense and attack. He's a leader, right? Lampard has said in a recent press conference, that Jorginho is showing his leadership quality. And I think if Aspilicueta is not on the pitch, I think he's our captain. When I watch him play, he's the most vocal. He's telling players where to be. He's positioning players. He's fantastic, man. And it's finally nice to see Jorginho getting the recognition that he deserves, because last season he was called sorry son, and I think the main reason why people gave him so much stick is, sometimes at one point I've done it as well, is because we didn't truly understand his role. And it was so frustrating because teams found out if you stop Jorginho, you pretty much stop everything coming from Chelsea, right? Because so much was relied upon for Jorginho. But once Ruben got into the team, you saw that drastically change because he had somebody to pass it to. And I think Kovacic as well has improved, right? He offers something. I've seen so many times where he beats the press. Bro, Kovacic's ability to beat the press with his dribbling ability and his passing ability, which world-class midfielders are able to do, right? They think 2 or 3 plays ahead, 2 or 3 passes ahead. And Jorginho, he seems like he has more fluidity, more confidence in his game because, and under Sarri, he seemed like he was in a shell a little bit, right? But you see him trying things. You see him pinging passes across the field, whether it's to a winger and Willian or if it's to Tammy Abraham, right, in the center, right? He just so influential in that part, and he bossed the game against Brighton. I thought he deserved some recognition, right? So he is, in my opinion, the second best player of the week behind Tomori. And these are just some of his stats. He has 72% of his tackles won, right? He has 62 duels in total, and he's won over 53% of those. So, and he can improve on that, but he's not really known for his, getting into challenges and whatnot. That's why having Kante is a big insurance policy, right? Because he helps Jorginho in that department. He already has 1 goal and an assist, right, which is way more than he had last season, right? But to be fair to him, there's some chances last season where we should have put it in the back of the net, and he never got the assist that he deserves last season. But another player I want to talk about is Tammy Abraham. Now, with Tammy, it's a bit weird because there's so much more than a striker than scoring goals. If you guys are watching my live stream, I was explaining that Tammy does a whole lot more than just score goals. Sometimes a striker's not going to score every game, but what does he do in games where he's not scoring? He's not scoring, right? He's not having the best of games, right? He wins free kicks for his team. He holds the play up. He links the play up with his team as well. He drops in deep to receive the ball to help, you know, transition from defense to attack, right? The little things. He can go out wide and pull defenders out of their position, right? You see it so many times against Dunk, who's a very good, very physical defender in that Brighton team. Dunk and Burns, right? They're very physical defenders. And we said when he played against Liverpool, he was struggling against Matip and Van Dijk, right? Two very physical defenders. But I've seen some improvement in Tammy's hold-up play. He's been taking a beating from these defenders, but he's doing it fantastically well. It was one play I wish I had it, but I don't want to copyright it. But Tammy beat, I think it was Dunk out wide. Like Dunk went in for a challenge or something, and Tammy he turned the ball, right? So I think one thing that Tammy has is his dribbling ability. I think that's a little bit underrated. He's saucy on the ball, man. I'm telling you. And he turned and he beat the defender, and he wound up winning a free kick because he had no choice but to foul him or let him go in on goal, right? So Tammy Abraham, I think he's our most complete forward. He does so much more than just score goals, right? It's his movement off the ball. It's what he does outside of scoring, which is influence the play, which I think Batshuayi needs to improve on. That's one thing I think the main reason why he's not playing is because he's more of he's not a complimentary striker, right? He's a striker that once he gets the ball, his only aim is to score, not to build up the play, not to hold possession. It's to score. Which I mean, you would say Hutch. That's the main reason why a striker is on the team is to score. But it's just so much more than just scoring goals, right? What can you do for me when you can't score a goal, when you can't get a shot at goal? Can you hold up the play? Can you win a free kick when we're struggling defensively or getting the ball out of our defense? It's the little things that matter, man. And Tammy Abraham is another Lion of the Week. As you can see, this is another visual of him beating a defender. He's saucy on the ball, man. I'm telling you. He's underrated with his dribbling ability. Mason Mount, I just want to give an honorable mention to Mason Mount because his positioning and he won us the free kick, right? The penalty kick, right? Because of his positioning, his tenacity, and his high work rate, man. His pressing is world class to me. Like some players just have it, that innate ability to just know where the ball is going to be at, and him putting pressure constantly onto the defenders, right? By pressing high and positioning, cutting out passing lanes, it worked in our benefit. We got a penalty that Jorginho take, which I knew that Jorginho was our penalty taker. Lampard, I knew you were trying to protect Barkley, but you can't trick me. We're not stupid, right? We knew that Jorginho is our penalty taker, right? We knew that last season. It was established last season that was our penalty taker. We knew that as fans because we're not stupid. But we appreciate you protecting the player from the media because we know how the media loves to trash Chelsea, right? Any little story like the Pulisic story earlier, they completely took out some quotes that Pulisic said to NBC, right? Sky Sports did. And so, yeah, they like to do little things like that to try to create a story when there's a non-story all the time. But they fail to do anything about Tottenham when it's blatantly obvious that they're not having the best season, right? They're not getting along, right? Anyways, I'm going to move on from that. But another player I want to talk about is Ross Barkley. Now, with Ross Barkley, it's a bit weird for me because during the preseason, we saw bits of Ross Barkley being world class, man. We say Lampard gave the magic touch to Barkley. Like every strike he does is a goal. Every pass he makes is an assist, right? He was so fluid, so confident in the preseason. Like where did this Barkley go? Where did this Barkley go? I mean, for me, I think Barkley at best, he's had 3 seasons at Chelsea. Right? At best for me, all he can be is a squad player. He can never be more than what we thought, right? We thought, okay, 15 million is great. If we can get Barkley to show the potential that we believe he has, then maybe the 15 million quid investment that we had on Barkley, it will be a steal, right? Because worst case scenario, we can sell him for like, what, 40, 50 million? But it hasn't been the case. He's been at Chelsea for 3 seasons now, and I haven't seen any improvement, and I'm sorry. I think it's time, and once Ruben comes back, I think it's time at Chelsea is almost over, man. And I don't mean to be harsh, but he's just not Chelsea material. I've seen enough. His decision making, he's constantly slows down the play. He can't build up the play. He's always either passing it backwards or sideways. He just doesn't think quickly enough. I mentioned earlier in the video where I've said top class midfielders are able to think 2 or 3 passes ahead of time, and Barkley has always seemed like he's inside his own head, right? He doesn't like the game against Grimsby Town where he had the ball several times inside the box. He seems like he just doesn't know what to do with it, right? I just wish that Barkley would just show the Barkley of preseason, but it doesn't seem like that's the Barkley we're gonna get, and so I'm kind of losing hope on Barkley. And I just wish that, you know, we could see this Barkley right here who pinks this long ball for Pulisic to score. And, you know, I know we all remember this goal from the preseason when Pedro scored that world-class goal, man. I mean, fantastic, man. But it's really unfortunate because I want the best from Ross Barkley. I don't hate Ross Barkley. I think he's a good player. He can be a good player. But all he can be is a good player. He can't be a world-class player or a great player, right? All he is a squad player. He's shown nothing in the last 3 years, and I think his time at Chelsea, his days are numbered. Because in that game against Brighton, especially in the first half, the ball wasn't moving quickly enough, right? The ball was moving so slow, right? And this is a part of that I was saying, like, Ross Barkley's decision making is suspect, bro. He doesn't think quickly enough, bro. And yeah, man, that's the Cub of the Week, by the way. I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm trying this. Let me know down in the comments down below, how do you like this video? And yeah, this is my version of the 3 best players of the week and the not so good player of the week. And that's, give me a like, thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Up to Chelsea, Fikayo Tomori. I'm so glad that we get rid of number 4 because you've shown that you are the better choice all along, right? Our best center back so far. I can't wait for us to get fully fit and get rid of these injuries, man, and illnesses. My goodness. Anyways, up to Chelsea, and I'm out.